Hey folks, this is Rabble Rousing Rich Burrs Ron.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tornado Tony Panico.
And Psychic Tom Paget. Crystal Ball, raring to go.
All right, Tom, what am I going to talk about first tonight?
Oh, boy. Let me see. Let me unveil here. Oh, Crystal Ball, Crystal Ball, Crystal Ball. We're going to have a news item.
Oh, yes. This is one I just...
It's a hot news item.
Oh, yes. Big hot news item. Rumors that might be true. This is from a website called Talksport.com. I don't know how much I can trust it, but it says right away that they use cookies, so who knows. Vladimir Klitschko making a comeback. Talking about a fight against Dylan White. Not Joshua Fury. So.
What? Almost 2 years now since he lost to Joshua.
Yeah. 2017. Yep. So, British boxing journalist Steve Bunce has stated that he's heard talks suggesting the 42-year-old Ukrainian will return to the ring in 2019. Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury obviously are negotiating a match. Anthony Joshua is looking for an opponent for his next fight for April 13th at Wembley Stadium. Obviously, Klitschko, if he makes a comeback, is not going to be ready for that. He'll have to have a full training camp and all that. But, yeah. This is the official rumor. So, Bunce was on BBC Live the other day. Talked about... He says, I still fancy Joshua fights Miller in America. Talking about Big Baby Miller. Bunce stated on his BBC Live podcast, I think either the April date gets pushed back or something else goes on there. I'm hearing all sorts of stuff about a fight that might be, can I drop it? Vladimir Klitschko is coming back. He's going to fight again. I'm hearing him linked with a big British heavyweight. It's not Fury and it's not Joshua, and I'm hearing that could be the fight that we see there April 13th at Wembley. So maybe he could be ready for that.
Yeah, the rematch was a good one the first time.
But then he said later, it might be bogus news, it might be real. So, yeah, it's the whisper.
Everything these days can be considered fake news anymore.
Yeah, right. Fake news. Anyway, real news. Wrestling legend Brock Lesnar. He's in the news for a couple different reasons. Major one here, he hasn't even yet paid his $250,000 fine that's required for lifting his Nevada Athletic Commission suspension. So, that's pretty puzzling. Guys, makes that kind of money. I think you'd be able to handle that. And if the UFC really wants him back, you'd think they'd be able to help him out with a signing bonus to take care of that. But no. Nevada Athletic Commission on Tuesday informed MMAfighting.com that Lesnar has yet to pay the outstanding $250,000 fine levied against him for a pair of 2016 failed drug tests in relation to his UFC 200 bout against Mark Hunt, meaning he currently remains ineligible to compete in MMA. At present, he's being held on an indefinite suspension issued by the NAC as a result of the failed test and subsequent unpaid fine. So he re-entered the UFC's anti-doping pool in July 2018 with a little over 6 months remaining on his USADA-issued period of ineligibility. And then January 8th was intended to mark the earliest date for Lesnar to be granted eligibility by USADA to once again compete. So, bottom line is he will still need to either pay his fine in full or agree on a payment plan with the commission before being allowed to seek relicensure to compete. He'll be required to submit clean drug tests to NAC officials 30 days, 15 days, and 3 days out from any potential fight, as well as submit an application for a license 30 days in advance of any contest per a spokesman from the NAC. So, NAC wants to get money. Brock. They're coming for you. Wouldn't it be funny if they were wrestlers to go get it? Made a WWE segment out of it. Anyway. Supposedly he formally retired from the UFC December 2016 and removed himself from the USADA drug testing pool, which froze his USADA suspension. But that's actually the same suspension he resumed in July 2018. So, if he does return to MMA, it's looking more likely that he's going to face Daniel Cormier more than anybody else. And depending on the timing, which looks like it's going to be later rather than sooner, that could be Cormier's final fight. Period. Especially if he wins. So, it's going to be interesting. Because, he's had plenty to say about John Jones juicing, so I'm sure he's really going to let loose on Brock. Well, anyway, I think Brock has more Twitter fans than John Jones, so. Anyway. But DC's all about it. He's already done the WWE staging. With Brock showing up to his last fight, so it's gonna be interesting for sure to see what they do with this. But this leads right into Mark Hunt's situation, and MMA Fighting also wrote this article. This is just classic Mark Hunt. I don't know where his lawsuit with the UFC sits right now, but this is a very interesting angle on the whole idea of, how the UFC's management and attitude towards their own employees, namely fighters, affect the way they perform in the cage. And I've said this for years that, the bonus system that was set up for knockout of the night and, even changing it to performance of the night. These guys are fighting for these bonuses because, and they're promoting to the Dana Whites and when the Fertittas were there to give them a bonus, and basically begging for it after their fights. Sometimes they wanted these bonuses so bad, and that's by design. They wanted them so eager to perform and put on a show, which are the main buzzwords that they've used to do that, to inspire that, and it has now been put into perspective by Mark Hunt by a psychologist who informed him that maybe that last stint of losses that you've had are related to the fact that you hate your boss. Think about it. How are you going to perform and put on a show like they want you to if you hate the people you're working for? And you're just going to make them money if you produce a crazy fight. Subconsciously, you might even not even know it, but you could just be trashing your own fight because you hate your boss. Anyway, it's laughable when you think about it in certain circumstances, but for him, it's not funny at all. I mean, he just goes on a crazy rant. But it's, I shouldn't say crazy because it's based on fact. It's based on his own experience. They've actually taken my love for fighting away, he says. And he explains that because of how they promote steroids and cheaters, how they've done it all. They pushed me out of the way, to be honest, and that's what's taken my love for fighting away. It's kind of sad because they should be promoting the guy that's not cheating, whereas they are promoting the cheaters of this sport, which is wrong. I actually thought Jeff Nowitzki was a nice person. He's the UFC drug czar, they call him. He thought he was a nice person, says Mark Hunt, but he's just a sellout. You're a sellout, bro. That's the bottom line. So, if you didn't know his history, Nowitzki made his name as the guy who brought down Lance Armstrong for doping in the Tour de France. And then in 2015, He came to the UFC as VP of Athlete Health and Performance, and his job is basically to head up anti-doping efforts in the UFC. But Hunt's claiming that he's just running interference for high-profile athletes that are getting caught cheating, which, obviously there's big evidence of that in the move from Nevada to California of the whole card to protect John Jones. And Nowitzki claimed that, there was just remnants of his previous failures, and there's no performance-enhancing benefit of that. But Hunt says that's a whole bunch of malarkey. He says, pure example, look at the situation with John Jones and Alexander Gustafsson. Look at that situation. They move a whole freaking show for one cheating guy. All the fans miss out on all their airlines, all their flights, all that jazz. They miss out all because of this one idiot. The UFC has the best stringent testing in the whole freaking world, but look what they're doing. They're giving people 4-month waivers so they can get past the tests. They've got these guys that say the test has a picogram. We'll put steroids in him. But that's from the last time we caught him. But he's still got some shit in him. So doesn't that mean he's cheating? Yes, he is. Why are you even putting him into fight? The truth of the fact is, it didn't matter whether he had a picogram now or if he had it 20 years ago. He's still got some shit in him, so he shouldn't be fighting. It's illegal. They're promoting steroids. That's what they're doing. So it's hard to argue with that. But this is where it gets real. He argues that his issues with the US ADA and the UFC didn't just sour him on fighting, it also cost him performance-wise. Now, he just finished his contract in December. Lost all 3 fights last year, and he looked pretty bad in each one of them. His best performance was against Derek Lewis, the Beast, when I was just praying for him to throw some more leg kicks, and he finally, chipped away enough to drop him. But anyway, this is the key sentence in this whole article. He says the reason why he lost all 3 fights is that it's hard to be mentally focused on fighting when you hate the people you work for. So he says, I still want to be the world champion in MMA. I know I'm 44, but still it's one of my dreams. It's been put off for a little while because of this stupid company. The moment I realized I was never going to get a title shot, that's the time I started losing. Since the Derek Lewis fight, every fight after that has been not good at all. I actually went to see a sports psychologist about it, and he hit it on the head straight away when I talked to him. It's hard to work for a company that's cheated you and a lot of other fighters. So now he's fielding offers from other promotions, trying to figure out which is going to be the best fit for him. But he's definitely not done. He's been at 44. And he wants to prove that, it was all the fog of war, I guess you could call it. Because the whole time he was dealing with the last 3 fights on his contract, I'm sure that lawsuit was still going against UFC for the whole Brock Lesnar incident. He says he wants to fight 5 more times, though. I want to see if it's time to retire or if working for the UFC just made me go sour. At the end of the day, it's either or. I still feel like I'm a lot better than a lot of those guys. So, real talk. I'm a real guy. I think we need to get Mark Hunt on this show because we'll have a whole lot of fun trashing the UFC together. But a lot of salient points there, and if there's ever a guy that they need to put in charge of a fighters union, it's probably if they ever create one. So anyway, you guys still with me?
Sure.
So what do you guys think about that? Obviously Brock Lesnar's been given not only the special treatment for the steroid use, but because he's a draw, from the WWE. He's got the popularity. He brings other eyes to the show. And then you got John Jones, his drug situation. It's pretty obvious that he's hitting the nail on the head with the criticism there.
Well, you know what? That's the thing. So when you are that big of a draw, you're going to get away with a lot of shit,
Right.
Because when we talk, let's
Now, this is a story that you might want to cover your kids' ears if they're in the room listening. This is pro wrestling again. It's got a tie-in. Saturday night in pro wrestling turned into an argument about a used tampon angle. Have you heard of this?
I've heard about this.
Okay. Wrestler named Priscilla Kelly, female wrestler, obviously, has utilized a tampon as a weapon during a match. And I haven't played the video, but they have a video on there of this incident, supposedly. Obviously, wrestling is fake. To make it look real, they're going to great lengths here. But anyway, it created a horrible back and forth argument between fans of this approach and people who were totally against it. But basically, I guess how it went down is she must have just showed it up like she pulled it out of her own crotch and put it in the other girl's face. Am I guessing correctly? Did you see the video, Tony?
I didn't see it, but that's what I heard.
The things people do for attention. Anyway, Priscilla Kelly came to her own defense on Twitter and said, "Hey guys, it's all fake. 21 plus show with a bar. Can't take life so serious all the time. Call me what you will." And as of January 5th, it had 4,003 likes at post. So obviously, this whole incident and argument got some big attention. Anyway, a little known fact about the cyborg loss there. She had a secret weapon in her corner that I didn't even know about until I read this article. But none other than Clarissa Shields was one of her training partners and boxing coaches. We're always knocking here and there the idea of MMA fighters thinking they know how to box, but they really don't. And, not all of them, can't say all of them, but a lot of them get used to that karate stance, and they have zero to little defense. And I think Cyborg has had some better defense in the past, but interesting point made by Clarissa right to Cyborg's face after the fight was that she opted to wade forward and engage with Amanda Nunes, in the loss, and she gave the younger, quicker fighter the openings to land her right hands. That really put her out. But Clarissa just laid into her. She said, "What the F? Hey, look, I'm not mad about the loss. I'm mad because you know how to effing box. You shouldn't have been out there trying to brawl. What did you do that for? You effing jab with me, jab with her short ass. What the F?" Anyway, I'm still proud of you.
Tell it like it is, huh? Yeah.
Anyway, I still love you. But, yeah. It's a good point, though. She did really try to go out there and brawl. And, I mean, she didn't really get much chance either because Nunes was so fast. But,
okay, but let's think about that. She outbrawled everyone she ever fought.
Right, exactly.
I mean, in hindsight, it was the wrong strategy, but going into the fight, she had the weight advantage. She was Cyborg. I mean, why not? Why not? Who's going to trade with her? Well, we found out someone could.
Well, you can tell by how fast the UFC is not moving towards a rematch. What they think about her chances to turn it around next time. But I think the only thing that would have helped her in that fight would have been a set of headgear. But that's not allowed. But yeah.
I don't even know if the headgear would have helped her.
That girl Nunes is just something special. And actually, some news made this last couple weeks was she's already, becoming the female Muhammad Ali of MMA by calling herself the greatest of all time. Which, it's hard to argue with after becoming the first two-weight champion in the UFC, who is probably going to be able to keep it that way. And that's for male or female, you don't see that. Usually one of these guys, or these guys who get double titles, will eventually drop one. And usually sooner rather than later. So, I think she's going to be the one to keep them both. Anyway, Nunes might get matched up with someone else, they say, probably Holly Holm, which would be interesting. But I actually would rather see Holly Holm rematching Cyborg, knowing what she knows now. And if I had any input in her corner, I would tell her to kick more. Leg kicks and head kicks. But anyway, that is just one little tidbit of news about that fight. And it's going to be a long time, I think, before we see a rematch. Another big fight news. So another guy's come back, Amir Khan. He's making progress in his return to boxing after a little hiatus. And he has decided to fight Terrence Crawford.
Yeah.
Welterweight title.
Yeah, the North.
Was that Tony? Tony, what'd you say?
It's going to be. Yeah. Saying that he's fighting Crawford. Is that April 20th?
Yes.
I don't think that's a good fight for Khan. Israel Khan is a quick athlete. He's a quick guy, athletic guy. Pound for pound, maybe the worst chin I've ever seen. Let's be honest. No kidding around about that. He doesn't have a good chin. And Crawford is a versatile fighter, and I can see Khan being competitive for a few rounds with his speed, his athleticism. But when Crawford settles down, Crawford can punch with either hand, and he can switch up between orthodox and southpaw. And I see this as one where he will get to him, and he will get to him probably mid rounds, and it will be an emphatic stoppage.
Yeah. Maybe it's the kind of thing. Everything Khan does, Crawford does better.
Yeah,
by a lot. But it's to me, that's what it seems like. Just one of those.
Well, they're saying this is going to headline an ESPN pay-per-view show. So, if they're really marketing Crawford more than Khan here, he's basically an opponent, but he thinks he's the draw. So, in a way, he has a little bit of a draw for the English fans, but I just don't know if it's like a wise decision for him to think he can really dominate here. He's going to have to put on the smartest boxing performance of his life and go to decision, but yeah, well, still going to be tough. Good luck.
He literally has to be perfect.
Yeah, and that's very hard to do for 12 rounds.
Against
according to this, Top Rank had tried to secure Danny Garcia as Crawford's opponent before they tried reaching out to Luis Collazo. So I guess accepted Top Rank's offer, but then Crawford was bothered by the public backlash. It wasn't tough enough for him, I guess. Khan lost by knockout or technical knockout 3 times, but the British star dropped Collazo 3 times on his way to a 12-round unanimous decision win. So, obviously a tougher guy here in Khan. Garcia was offered a $3 million guarantee to challenge Crawford. But Angel Garcia, Danny's father, never responded to Top Rank's offer. obviously didn't. He either didn't work with Top Rank, or or just didn't want to fight. But I would think it was the former rather than the latter. Because, I mean, Garcia's a premier boxing champions guy, and I don't think Al Heyman does any business with Top Rank if he can help it. That's Floyd Mayweather's buddy right there, Al Heyman, and obviously Floyd hates Top Rank. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if that's just bad blood between promotions. But anyway, Khan got a $5 million guarantee, so that might have a lot to do with why he took the fight. Well, we'll see how it goes. They're going to make an official announcement a little later this month, I guess. Now, this is a crazy story. This is crazy combat story of the week. This will never happen again, okay? What would you say would be a bad day for a guy who's going to try to kidnap a girl? What would be a real bad place?
A bad day would be getting rear naked choked. That's what would happen.
Well, we don't know.
On a bus. No.
Yeah, like a bus full of fighters, right? So, this is a real story. Really happened, okay? Some guy was obviously smoking some foreign substance and probably drinking too, but he tries to chase a woman down and abduct her. So she gets the bright idea, which is the brightest idea of all in this situation, to run into a karate studio. Now you can guess where I'm going with this. So, story says this guy. This is from the instructor, Randall Ephraim. He says there were still some kids in the dojo being picked up by parents, and a couple of adult students were cleaning up when a young lady came to our doors and stated that someone was trying to harm her. Shortly after, a big male entered the building, he said. Not knowing what he wanted, I assumed he was inquiring about classes. I asked how I could assist him, and he stated he was there for the lady. She insisted she didn't know him, and that he tried to kidnap her. So this guy was under the influence, obviously. He had reportedly attempted to grab her outside the dojo earlier, and when he refused to leave and got aggressive, the instructor dealt with him. So the instructor says again, he then tried to force himself further in the dojo, aggressively pushing and swinging. I then went into action defending myself and got him out of the dojo. Once inside, he attempted to attack again and was dealt with accordingly. It mentions that he was smoking something, and this kind of clues me into probably what it was. He was very strong, very, very strong, said the dojo instructor. He weighed at least 200 pounds and some change under the influence. Very strong individual. So yeah, he was definitely under the influence there. The guy's name was August Williams. Was arrested several times in the past for drugs and assault, and he was taken to the hospital to be treated for injuries before he went to jail. So yeah, bad day for a kidnapper there. This was it was actually the clip they had was from CBS Philly, Tony. For some reason they picked up on that. I don't know if you saw that.
I did not.
But it didn't happen in Philly. It happened in Charlotte, North Carolina. True story, though. Moral of the story is, don't kidnap people, number one. And,
You don't do that.
If you are going to do that, then definitely do not run into a dojo. Yeah, you consider that a lost cause. Runs into the dojo. Anyway, we're not advocating that. Just bad day for that guy. This is a pretty interesting story from the MMA side. Before we get to the UFC previews and upcoming boxing matches. Rose Namajunas is actually the betting underdog against Jessica Andrade at UFC 237. And money's already come in. I don't know when Rose is going to get the respect she really deserves, but pummeling Joanna twice in a row obviously didn't do it. But Jessica Andrade here, she's going to be a betting underdog, plus 100. She's 8-3 against Andrade, who obviously has a little bit more experience, but she's got 3 more losses, 19-6. Well, a lot of money's coming in, so people believe. They believe in Andrade. Well, we're going to see. I'm going to bet on. If I had my money to bet, I would put it on Rose. If betting were legal in New Hampshire. Although I did deliver wood to the Greek, so I could bet on him. Yeah. So we got US Fight Night 143 coming up. This is quickly materialized here since the ouster of the old champ there, Demetrius Johnson. They sent him overseas. That's how far away they sent him. They sent him to the other side of the world. So that they could get somebody to agree to this fight to make another 2-belt champion. We're going to have the headliner here. Henry Cejudo and TJ Dillashaw. Cejudo, obviously, his big strength is the wrestling. He's a gold medalist. 13-2. TJ 16-3. And I like TJ's style better in this one. I think Demetrius would have given him more trouble if that fight were to ever happen, but Demetrius was really pushing that fight away for the longest time. I don't think he was ever really keen on it. But DJ against Cejudo, it needs to be pretty much no contest. TJ is going to walk over. Unless Cejudo really goes to work on his boxing. His footwork and all that. TJ just has so many angles, so much technique, and that chin. I mean, you saw that when the fight went a little bit longer in the rematch against Cody Garbrandt. He's got a hell of a chin. And, when you have that kind of defense.
Even if it goes to the ground, I think TJ can hang with him.
Wow.
I would agree with you on paper. It's TJ's fight to lose.
And then, if the UFC has not been enough of a controversy magnet of late, this fight is going to make even more controversy for him. It already has. Greg Hardy, the former NFL player most known for domestic violence issues, comes in at 3-0, and he's the co-main event. Two of his 3 fights, I think, were on the contender thing that the UFC does. He's appeared on there twice, and then they signed him to a contract. So he's 3-0, fighting Alan Crowder, who's 9-3. So obviously, significant step up.
Is this on the pay-per-view card?
Well, it's a fight night, so I would think this has got to be on some type of free platform or Fight Pass.
Yeah, Fight Night. I think ESPN's going to follow a similar format to Fox.
It'll be on regular ESPN.
Have some freebies on there. So because I would think Greg Hardy should not be on pay-per-view card.
Yeah. Anyway, it will be funny for ESPN though, because ABC, Disney, all those connections, putting domestic violence abuse. I don't know. I haven't heard the official plan for the fight nights, but we'll find out. The other next fight on the list, Gregor Gillespie comes in undefeated, 12-0. He's fighting Yancy Medeiros, who's 15-5. And then we got Joseph Benavidez, 26-5, fighting Dustin Ortiz, 19-7, which is kind of an interesting matchup to me because Ortiz is kind of, a filler for a lot of these fight cards. fights. I think he came out of one of the Ultimate Fighter seasons, and he's never really made any title shot waves or contender type. He's probably had a lot of back and forth. One fight here, lost. One fight. I'm not looking at his record, but 19-7 sounds like it. And Benavidez has been up there in the title shot picture multiple times. So this is kind of puzzling that they're putting him in against a guy like this. No knock to Dustin. Obviously he's got a shot to win any fight, but I just don't know why they would match up a guy with that much experience against kind of like a journeyman here. Anyway, Paige Van Zant comes in 7-4, fighting Rachel Ostovich 4-4. Glover Teixeira 27-7, coming in against Ion Cutelaba 14-3. And then we got Cowboy Cerrone in the 7th fight of the night. He is 34-11, fighting Alexander Hernandez, who is 10-1. And one of my favorite female fighters, Joanne Calderwood, 12-3, fighting Ariane Lipsky, who's 11-3. Somebody's 3. He's got a flea. Alonzo Menafield, 7-0, fighting Vinicius Alves Moreira, 9-1. And then talk about a record, 31-8 for John Lineker in the 4th fight of the night, fighting Corey Sandhagen, who's only 9-1, and they don't even give him a shirt dog picture. No, a UFC card, and they don't even have a picture. Dennis Bermudez also has been in the title picture before. Had some ups and downs. 16-9 coming into the 3rd fight of the night against Kay Edwards, who's 6-2. We got Bilal Muhammad in the 2nd fight of the night, 14-2, fighting Jeff Neal, 10-2. That's a good matchup. 1st fight of the night is Randy Brown, 10-3, against Chance Recounter. It's a weird name. Rencounter. So, let's switch to Box Rec. See what we got coming up for fights. It's been a slow early part of the month for fights, both MMA and boxing. Last couple of weeks we haven't had a whole lot to discuss. For big fights, the results of last week, according to Box Rec, the big fights, all pretty much foreign, overseas stuff. Yin Yang won his fight over Suryan Saturn on Saturday, the 5th, basically. Jing Yang, yeah. Jing Yang. Yin Yang. That's one of the big ones. So, the big one is tomorrow night, I believe, this weekend. We got Caleb Plant versus Jose Uzcategui on Sunday. But, yeah, let's go to... And the biggest one they're listing on Saturday is Mugicha Nakagawa against Ryoichi Tamura. And I gotta click on that one. I wonder if that guy Nakagawa is related to my judge. I used to have a judge. One of the first judges on my Zions case was Judge Nakagawa. That was funny. Nakagawa. They never explained to me why that guy was taken off the case either. That was kind of funny. He's just started to rule for me, and then like, yep, he's gone. Anyway, this was on Fox Sports 1 on Sunday. We've got the big fight. Jose Uzcategui. He is super middleweight. Record is 28-2. Fighting Caleb Plant, who is 17-0. This one's from California, Los Angeles, California, the Microsoft Theater. This one's also for the IBF World Super Middleweight title. And
that's going to be a pretty tall task for Plant. Good fighter, tough kid, but he might be in a little bit over his head.
Right. Well, he is undefeated.
Well, that's why you fight him, right?
Right. Featherweights in the co-main event. Brandon Figueroa undefeated at 17-0, 13-0 as well, fighting Moises Flores, who has just one loss, 25-1. Moises Flores. We'll see how that goes. That's probably going to be a decision fight. I don't know if either one is known for knockouts. But then we have the light heavyweights, the bigger guys. Ahmed El Diali coming in at 17-1. 17 must be a requirement for half the people on this fight, because fight card. There's a lot of them. It's not the last one. He's fighting Alan Green. El Diali. Alan Green is 33-5. So experience versus.
Well, that's a blast from the past, Tom.
Yeah.
Really?
And then Guillermo Nomas Rigondo, 17-1, fighting Giovanni Delgado, 16-8, and obviously a tune-up fight for him. Since the horrible performance he had, basically putting on a stool, it's obviously going to take some time to remarket him now. And it looks like they want him to look good against this guy. Out of all the fighters in the top 4 fights, this guy's got the most losses. Giovanni Delgado, 8. Half as many losses as he has wins. Anyway, I'm not saying Guillermo's up against an opponent or anything. Kevin Watts against Ryan Carl at welterweight, 12-3 is Watts. Carl is 15-2. And then talking about 17s, we got Mike Plania at super bantamweight, 17-1, fighting Juan Antonio Lopez, 12-4. So yeah, that's the last 17, I guess. That one. And it's another slow week for boxing, because that's really the only card they list for Sunday in the world. How's that possible? Is BoxRec missing something? I think so. And it is a slow month. Somebody who has got to go fight of the week is from Shreveport, Louisiana tomorrow night. It's going to be on Showtime, Showbox. And this kid is a pretty smart dude, Devin Haney. He is not only 20-0 in the peak physical shape of his life, a great athlete, but he also promotes himself now. Has his own promotional company, promotes other fighters, and he's like barely 20 years old, I think. So, more power to him. This guy, if he continues on this pace, is going to outdo Mayweather by the time he gets to Mayweather's age. But anyway, Shreveport, Louisiana, stage work is going to be the venue. Devin comes in 20-0. His opponent, I'm probably going to butcher the name, Zolasani Ndogini. He is 25-0. And obviously he's not from the United States. He's from an African country. South Africa. And the majority of his fights have been in South Africa. And if I'm looking at his record here, yeah, not a lot of people you would recognize on that record. Even though it looks pumped up, like, oh yeah, big undefeated guy. Nobody world class here on the list. The best record out of anybody he's fought, this guy, probably a tie between Godfrey Nzimande, who was 23-4-3, and this guy won the unanimous decision over him. Or you could say it was the 34-7 of Mzonki Fana. He won a majority decision against him back in 2015. So, he's never fought anybody that's undefeated? Never. So, I think he's going down. No knockouts either. Oh, wait. No knockouts. Oh, he's never been knocked out. He's never lost. But, 13 knockouts to 25 wins. So, not even. Just barely half. Half the amount. So, that should be a pretty decent fight, even though I think Haney's going to walk away with it. Frank Sanchez Foray, 10-0. He's a heavyweight in the co-main event, fighting a guy with two first names, Willie Jake Jr. He is 8-1-1. And then we got featherweights. Somebody who's got to go on the same card. Ruben Villa, 14-0, fighting Ruben Cervera. So it's the Ruben fight of the week. 10-0 versus 14-0. Cervera versus Villa. Ruben on Ruben Prime. And it's a short week, so that's really it. Friday, too. What's going on Saturday? By the way, Devin also has 13 KOs, but, that's out of 20 wins. And his last opponent was a guy named Juan Carlos Burgos. Won a unanimous decision over him. His record was 33-2. And he likes guys who are 33-2 because that's the exact same record the guy before him had, Mason Menard. Won a vacant USBA lightweight title in that fight. So yeah, he's taking a big step up here, but he's fought better guys for sure. So it's gonna be maybe a little bit tougher than his other fights, but because the guy's undefeated. But I don't think that guy's any better than Juan Carlos or Mason. Fight a world beater. We'll see him get tested. A little bit, maybe. I think he's just a natural talent. Really looking forward to where it goes with him. And maybe we'll really get him on the show because we're always putting up his posts and stuff. We got mainline to people, so probably make it happen. Anyway, listen, I don't have any news articles in front of me, but just getting the combat sports debate going here again. There's a couple of news articles that I glanced at this week regarding, of course, none other than Conor McGregor trying to drum up interest in either, number one, a exhibition match with this tension dude that Floyd just fought and obliterated, or Paulie Malignaggi in a boxing match. Which, actually, I think Conor might be able to win a boxing match with Paulie. But that's not really saying much.
No, I mean...
He's a little past his prime.
Paulie, when was the last time when was the last time he even boxed?
Yeah.
Competitively. So, yeah, I mean, true. But I'll tell you right now, Paulie would bring his A game to this one just because of their backlog from when he was helping him train for the Mayweather fight.
Right. Well, with the way those two flap their jaws, it would be a hell of an all-access.
Oh yeah. The build-up was great.
Yeah. That would be awesome. Anyway, so those are just a couple of things that are in the news. Now, of course, the big build-up is for the fight coming up next week, Manny Pacquiao versus Adrian Broner. And they had some press events this week. Actually, if I had planned my day better, I could have been on the conference call today, which I probably have the transcript of on the blog later. FightNewsUnlimited.com. But basically, Manny's people are saying that not only is he ready and primed for this fight, but he shows no signs of slowing down, and his people are telling him basically that if they see signs of any slowdown, they're going to let him know. And one of his trainers said that Manny hit him so hard the other day, it's like the hardest he's ever been hit by any fighter. So, pretty interesting. Anyway, let me get down to that press day. We had a press day the other day. Media day. And he says, my journey in this sport is still continuing. I've accomplished everything I've wanted to, but I also want to continue to keep my name at the top. Even at 40 years old, I can still show the best of Manny Pacquiao. I'm going to give the fans the speed and power that they're used to seeing. I'm sure that Broner is focused on this fight. They are working hard, and I expect him to be in great condition. We know how his trainer pushes him and has been pushing him in their training camp. I'm not taking this fight lightly. I don't listen to any gossip about Adrian Broner. I just focus on my training. I want to be in 100% condition and ready to go for the fight on January 19th. Adrian Broner is fast with his hands, and he's overall a good boxer. This is a big challenge that I'm excited for. Me, Freddie, and Boo Boy know each other well, and we have a great coaching staff right now. I'm happy with how everything is going and training for this fight. Rest and recovery is definitely a key part of training. Sometimes when I work hard in the gym, my body can't fully recover by the next day, so I've had to work more rest into the schedule. But as soon as I can, I'm back in the gym working hard. On January 19th, I'm going to do my best. I can't say a prediction, but I'm going to do the same thing I did for my last fight. My trainers know how hard I've worked in this camp for this win. My plan is to take it one fight at a time. I can't talk about future fights until until I do what I have to on January 19th. You can ask me again after this one. So that's a good attitude. You never want to look to the next fight. So, as for Broner, he says, growing up and seeing Pacquiao fight, of course I always want to fight him. I'm a competitor. One day I want to be the best. And to be the best, you have to beat the best. It starts here. This is my first pay-per-view, but I was always supposed to be here. God doesn't make mistakes. After this victory, I will be taking over the sport of boxing. This is just the beginning. His last fight, he did stop Matisse, so I'm pretty sure he still has power, but I'm going to be ready. I'm going to be ready for whatever he brings to the table. We're in shape to get it done, I can tell you that. This win makes me an icon. It makes me what I always wanted to be and what everybody always thought I would be. A win here, and I'm a legend overnight. It's going to be a hell of a fight. I can't wait till round one. Everybody I fight says they're going to knock me out. That should be the objective of every fighter, but that's not going to happen. The sky's the limit for me, but in boxing you have to take it one fight at a time. You can't overlook anybody in this sport. My main focus is Manny Pacquiao, and I will be ready. So, he also adds, it's not a mystery. He's been knocked out before, not once, not twice, but 3 times, and he's been put down a lot, too. There are many blueprints to beat Manny. I think I have all the tools to beat him. I will show all the tools in my arsenal and show all the weaknesses in his. And it was Boo Boy that I think said that. It's Boo Boy Fernandez. He's Pacquiao's co-trainer now. Says, I think it's going to be a knockout. If Broner opens the door, we're going to get it early. I've seen from previous fights that he's a slow starter, so we need to get inside and go first. We know that Broner is a good counterpuncher with a strong right uppercut. Broner is a real fighter and a smart fighter in ring. I'm happy that Manny has shown that he moves as well as ever, even at 40 years old. He's learning even more now. I told the team that I think he's already prepared for this fight. We just want him to maintain his shape and energy level. Manny's 110% ready. I don't think there's a fighter who can keep up with what Manny brings. And Freddie Roach is still with him. He says, Manny and I have been together 15 years, so I have no reason to ever be mad at Manny. Everything has worked out really well, and we're working together as a team right now. I'm working on the game plan right now. For how to fight Broner. He's a counterpuncher who doesn't like to come forward too much. Manny will have to be the aggressor in this fight and use his feints to trap the guy into making it more of a fight. So anyway, Pacquiao and I have a deal. He says once his work ethic drops, yeah, I've actually heard of this before, him saying this. He says I'm going to tell him, and he's agreed he'll retire. His work ethic is unbelievable right now. He hasn't slowed down at all. And he hit me with a shot in the chest 2 or 3 days ago, and I've never been hit harder in my life. That's what he said. It was Roach. And that's significant because, you got to remember Freddie was a boxer himself. So, not really talking about training people, but in the ring. So, Broner's trainer says, of course, everything went tremendous in Florida. I've never seen Adrian this focused, and I've been around him for years. He came to camp with a look on his face like this is the one he's got to have. He prepared for 9 hard weeks, and we didn't miss a beat. Everything was on point. He's ready. He's focused. We had tremendous sparring. Everything went great. We didn't have any hiccups, any injuries, or setbacks. He's ready to go, and he's going to look spectacular on January 19th. So, it is what it is there, but you get the feeling that this is just a setup. You know what I mean? Because who is Broner a lookalike for? Anybody? Who's he a lookalike for, as in Styles?
He tried to do a lot. Like he tried to do a lot of the Mayweather stuff.
Oh, of course. That's his.
You know, because they were BFFs. Mayweather was like, "Go away, kid. Go away, little pest."
Yeah.
But that's what, you know. I think you're going to get a lot of that, and you're going to get a lot of flash with him. You know, he's got quick hands. You know, he's got decent power, not great power. But he's a lot of flash, a lot of substance, or a lot of style, and not always a lot of substance.
Right. Well, the thing is, both of these guys would like to fight Floyd. Even Broner, who considered Floyd, really a mentor early on, has come out publicly before and asked to fight Floyd. So, both guys would be thrilled to have such a great performance that they can, again, try to call Floyd out. I think Manny would be more likely to get the fight if he wins, but Broner will try for sure. So it's going to be interesting to see which one of those two would actually bring Floyd out of retirement, because I think he definitely wants to come out again. I mean, you can't resist the kind of money he can make, especially if you pick the right opponent. Somebody you've either beaten before or somebody that you've taught everything they know. I mean, it's a no-brainer for him. Either way, he wins. So.
You're not going to see Floyd call out the Keith Thurmans of the world, the Sean Porters, the Danny. And I think Garcia is maybe on the downside a little bit, but still dangerous. Definitely not going to see him call Terrence Crawford, the Errol Spence of the world. Those really elite guys. Like, if you look at him for the last decade now, almost, ever since we fought Oscar De La Hoya, there was an angle with every single fight. Every one. De La Hoya passed his prime. He only had 2 fights after. He fought Mayweather, and De La Hoya damn near had that fight won. He gave it away. Ricky Hatton, very limited. Very limited fighter, moving up in weight. Shane Mosley, way past his prime. Other fighters that were good, but not elite. Robert Guerrero, Victor Ortiz, guys like that. Andre Berto, who's well past his prime. Marcos Magana, who damn near won the first fight. Still a very limited fighter. Canelo Alvarez, talented, but still a little bit too green. So look at every one of those. Manny Pacquiao, well past his prime. Every one of those fights, there was an angle. Mayweather was in the driver's seat. You're not going to see him call out one of these young lions anymore. Like I said, the Errol Spences or the Keith Thurmans or the Sean Porters. Terrence Crawford. Why? Why? I think, would a guy like Sugar Ray Leonard do that? Absolutely. But with these guys that they have, their brand is more important than anything. Their brand, it's going to be like, well, I don't want to, risk, my reputation. Where Sugar Ray Leonard was like, my reputation is based on me fighting you.
Right, and that's why we're not going to be talking about him 50 years from now anywhere near the extent we are the old timers, the brand, the joke.
I mean, Tom, let's look at it like this, man. Sugar Ray Leonard was mainly finished as a full-time fighter when I was just 7, 8, 9 years old, really, to be honest. I mean, after, we're with the detached retina, he was sporadic. He came back to fight, Kevin Howard. And then, but then he was going again. again for a while. Then he came back with the Hagler fight. Then he came back and like the Milan fight, but everything was sporadic. It wasn't like the full-time fighter like he was. Imagine if he never had that injury. But at the same time, we're still talking about him a good 30 years after he was a full-time fighter. His fight was 20-some years ago, and that was his first fight in, almost a decade, and it was well past his prime. I mean, imagine that his prime was longer than it was.
Yeah, and then calling for a rematch with Duran. I mean, I know there was strategy there, and he knew Duran's shenanigans outside the ring, but still, after being thrashed, and then he didn't think twice about coming back, and he eventually finished up with Marvin Hagler.
Right.
Really? I mean, it's a cheap day. You're worried about a loss? I don't think he was worried about a loss. And don't tell me that possibility wasn't there, for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
No, yeah. but that's right. That's why a lot of the greats that will be talked about forever, they were willing, to step out of that comfort zone, to take that risk. That risk, in a way, is what made them great. And you can look at, great fighters throughout pretty much any decade. Ali, third fight back out of a 3-year exile, and he's taken on the undefeated Smoking Joe Frazier. And losing effort, he made his name that much bigger. Then came back and fought Frazier 2 more times. He's fighting an undefeated killer in George Foreman. Stuff like that, is what made him a legend.
Right. And don't forget, when he first won the title, as a 7 or 8 to 1 dog against the monster, Sonny Liston. Sonny Liston was a bad man. Believe me, his reputation back then. I remember there was 45 reporters, and 2 of them picked, it was Cassius Clay then. And the one reporter said, I don't think he has a chance, but if some miracle he pulls it off, I'll be famous. Yeah. And Ali, Cassius Clay, he believed in himself, and he wasn't worried about it. Let's do it. Anyone, anytime. And he fought anyone, anywhere. And Floyd can't say that.
And you're right. I mean, even look at another guy, Joe Louis. Joe Louis, I would not feel like I'm the champ of the world until I fight Schmeling again, who knocked him out, and he went there, and not only did he fight him and beat him, he obliterated him. He had that first fight with Walcott, which was a close, controversial win. He went out, and he gave him the rematch, and then he knocked him out, Same thing with Billy Conn. He had the first fight with Conn, and it was really close. He was losing the fight until he saved his title with a knockout, and what did he do? He gave him a rematch, so it was
right. You can talk about the Bell of the Month Club, but that wasn't Joe's fault that he was so much better than those guys. He just fought whoever was next.
Right. Exactly.
And then let's get another gentleman, heavyweight champ in the 1950s. I think you heard of him.
Yeah, once or twice.
Yeah. Who did he done? Who did he say, well, I'm not in shape, or I got to wait till the guy gets older. No, I don't remember anything like that from Rocky. None.
Well, I'll tell you, here's another perfect example. He had that first real close fight with Roland LaStarza. Gave him a rematch for the title, changed his strategy, and he brutalized LaStarza. He had that close win over Ezra Charles, and he gave him a rematch. So you're right, the Rock doesn't nobody.
All right. Well, Floyd's going to be ducking and dodging everybody's significant until somebody comes along that he can make a lot of money with and still beat the pants off easily.
Yeah, right.
So, this is the MO in the last few years. But I don't know. I think Manny is starting to change my mind as far as whether he could ever even compete with Floyd, because if it does end up being Manny winning this fight, especially by knockout, maybe he has tapped into some newfound power. I mean, I don't think Freddie Roach would just hype something up and lie like that. I wouldn't put it past him to get some edge in the fight. But when he says something like that's the hardest I've ever been hit, I kind of tend to believe him. So who knows? Maybe that's his angle. He just has a completely different approach, and if he gets that rematch, he's intent on a knockout. And but then again, you have to look at what Floyd just did to the detention guy in the freaking exhibition. So maybe he's thinking the same thing. Maybe if I do get another fight, I gotta give him a knockout quicker than McGregor. But it's definitely, I think, more intriguing the second time around because the whole injury thing really put a damper on the first one. Even though a lot of people would argue that it wouldn't matter if he had both arms in fantastic condition, he still would have lost that fight because he didn't have the right style to contend with the role. And my biggest knock on Manny is that he, I didn't really see his last fight, so I can't really tell you what he does now with the different training regimen he had with Boo Boy on the hiatus from Freddie. But the big knock I used to have on him was he would punch with both hands down a lot, right down by chest area or even belly area sometimes, and he wouldn't remember to put either one hand or both hands back up quickly. So he ended up, for every punch he landed, he took two a lot of times, and especially in the fights that he lost. So if he can fix that, and he can step up with the power, that guy could be very dangerous for Floyd. And it obviously would be a way better fight than the first one, even with them a little bit older, I think. Because he definitely seems to be taking it seriously now. This is all about legacy. He's definitely not too old. And he's taking his time. That's the other thing. He's not keeping the kind of schedule he used to where he would have 2 or 3 fights a year when he was really, all about it. Now he's just 1 fight a year, maybe 2 fights max. And I think he's definitely going to be prepared. And if we do see it, it's going to make a lot of money. We know that. And,
you know what? And, a little bit, before, off topic, something I wanted to bring up, and I don't want to forget on this one. I'd be remiss to not bring these a good topic and a not so good topic right now. Both related to the boxing scene. I just want to send out my thoughts to a good friend of mine who's currently in a hospital. You guys have seen him on my training videos. My 95-year-old friend Hank. He had a minor procedure done this week. He's been in the hospital for about a week now. Going to see him tomorrow night. So they gave him some care in Philly. His spirits are very high, but I'm not exactly sure. I haven't gotten full information on what his health issues are. But when you're 95 years old and they're doing a procedure, that is cause for concern. But the guy that once trained with the great Rocky Marciano will tell you, you keep bobbing and weaving, you keep your ass off the canvas, and you never lost a fight in the dressing room. So he's out there and he's battling away right now. I'm going to go see him tomorrow night and give him all of our best wishes and tell him keep swinging on this one, and I know we will. And so I'll keep you guys with any updates on that. And then also I'm going to be sending you guys a couple photos. Rich, I don't know if you saw it on Facebook or the other day, but the contract has been signed with the producer of my new Phillies outfit.
Nice. Oh yeah, I did see that. So you got the Mummers costume? Is that what's going on?
No. The outfit that I got my photo with last year, and Rich started to bring up a sore memory when the Eagles won the Super Bowl last year. By the way, thanks for the lobster tail and bisque. It was fantastic. And maybe we might be having a rematch again this year. When the Eagles won, the center for the Eagles, Jason Kelsey, who was about 6'2" and pushing 300 pounds, wanted to really do something Philadelphia-esque for the parade, and he went to guys that designed all the mummers outfits and only had one that would be fitting a 300-pounder. So he got this mummers outfit with a shamrock hat on and pink sequin pants, and an unbelievable outfit. And I mean, and then he gave an epic speech, and I'll have to send you guys the YouTube video of it because he was a little bit inebriated and he really went off, a little bit profane, but at the same time very memorable.
Yeah.
And it got to the point that the guy that used to make these mummers outfits started producing those hats, and he's selling them with proceeds going to charities for members of the mummers that are battling cancer, which hey, great thing. And so when I was down there having him redesign my Phillies outfit, it's going to be literally the same design, same style, just bigger, badder, and blingier. A lot more sequins, really going to be standing out a lot more. But I saw he had the mummers outfit, the Kelsey outfit, on a mannequin, and I had to get my photo with it.
I was wondering what that's all about.
That was the outfit, because that was like, just that cool.
Wow. The Eagles got a little bit closer to a rematch with the Patriots in the Super Bowl. I like the Doink the Clown reference. It's pretty cool. But,
the double doink.
Well, that was right too. The thing hit the crossbar. Hit the crossbar. No, the upright, and then the crossbar.
Yeah. It was determined that it was tipped.
Yeah. Oh, they got a hand on it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, literally a fingernail on it, but just enough to change the trajectory. And one scrape, sometimes is all you need.
Yeah. Well, especially when they iced him. Didn't he kick it? Did he get the first time?
Yeah. Anyway, he nailed it.
Yeah. Well, sometimes luck counts.
Right. You know what?
Yeah, you can't argue with that.
Happened.
Well, coming from a guy who roots for a team that is famous for the tuck rule, getting them to the playoffs and the Super Bowl, can't argue with luck.
You know what? Hey, sometimes it's better to be lucky.
Yeah, I was just pissed, trying to win some money on FanDuel. The first half goes awesome. They're giving it to Smallwood every chance they get. He's their only player racking up serious yardage, and then all of a sudden they gave up on him in the second half, and they start giving the ball to freaking Darren Sproles, and he's running into his own people, stumbling all over the place. Give him 3 shots at the end zone on the 2-yard line, and he can't make a yard. And then they finally give it to Smallwood from like 8 yards out on the 2-point conversion, and he almost jumps into the end zone. Like, oh, they should have been giving it to him every down before that. But no. And there was a couple other plays I probably could have picked, but I really didn't give the Bears enough credit. Like their offense, especially, like their one receiver that got a lot of the yardage. I didn't even think to pick. But I had all the other guys from Philly that did great in the game. Just didn't get Smallwood to put up enough numbers. But I remember the last time I didn't pick him for a one-night game set up on FanDuel, he exploded in the second half. And it's like they do that with him. They have so many runners, they're like, oh, we're just going to use him for part of the game. Instead of letting them get spread out through the whole game when he's doing well, which is what I think they should be doing. Because he is really something special. Like if I was a Phillies fan, I would want to see him more. Because if you take any of the other backs and lot of the guys are starting all the time, and he just gets the ball sometimes. He doesn't get the ball every game right off the bat. Sometimes they start with somebody else. But
They drafted him in the 5th round a couple of years ago, and he had a decent rookie year. But then it was like they brought in LeGarrette Blount, who you know from the Patriots days, and then they traded for Jay Ajayi, who you know because he was against the Patriots when he was with Miami. So then they had another undrafted kid, Corey Clement, who was doing so great, last year. Smallwood just got buried. And then this year, Blount's gone. He went to Detroit. Ajayi tears the ACL. Clement tears the ACL. And, Smallwood, you're back prime time again.
And then the only mistake he made in that last game really wasn't a mistake. It looked like the ball was intercepted because he couldn't hold on to the ball, but really the guy stripped it from him. He ripped it right out of his hands.
Nothing you can really do on that.
Yeah. So I felt like it was one of those situations where they were like, all right, that was a bad play for you, so we're going to sit you for a couple plays. But anyway, it was a great game. I liked watching that one. I don't get to watch a lot of football because I'm usually working on Sundays, and it seems to get this cold weather coming through all the time up here doing firewood. But good news is I'm losing weight. Still maintaining walk-around weight of 195. What was that, Tony?
That's the person get it done for you.
Yeah. I think 192 is the lowest I've been for like an hour. Until I ate that day. Yeah, the keto coffee. I just gotta recommend that. I saw something today for the first time. The guy said it was new. I didn't think it would take long, but they're now bottling it in, like the little coffee drinks you get at the supermarket or the corner store. It's called Super Coffee. And it's got the same stuff that keto has in it, but it's not labeled as keto coffee. It just has the oil, the MCT oil that's supposed to be good for you. But it's called Super Coffee. It comes in like a white bottle, plastic bottle, and it's the guy said at that store it was $3 a pop. I don't even know if it was on the shelf yet. It was just behind the counter on the guy's desk. So maybe it's too new to be in your area. But if you were looking for something different, it's worth the money. Because there's like 900 different options now for those friggin' little coffees. It used to be, one or two. Or Monster was Monster, and what was the other one? It had the energy coffee drinks. But now it's like everybody and their brother's got to have a coffee drink. Dunkin' Donuts finally came out with their own version. Starbucks has got all of them. Crazy flavors and all that bullshit. But this stuff is actually energy, protein, and keto diet all in one. So maybe I'll get them to sponsor our show. Get the free stuff. We'll all get to try it. Alright, guys. Well, when we're talking football, we run out of combat sports stuff.
Yeah.
Until next week, when the schedule ramps up, I'll have more to talk about.
Okay, this sounds good to me, gentlemen. I will talk to you then.